Peace family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about using this time during this war to strengthen yourself and all your abilities, you know what I mean? Meaning, we got a lot of narcs and demons around us 24/7, you know what I mean? So instead of always taking the approach of them attacking or you like pushing it over on the other side per se, opposed from me coming up with any other words for it, you know what I mean? Pointing the finger. We already know the shit that they have going on, the shit that they gonna do, you know what I mean? But as far as for us using that shit to strengthen ourselves, I feel like, and I know from my personal experiences, like a lot of my prior ships that I was on with spouses, you know, excluding the inside of my family, you know what I'm saying, because there wasn't a whole lot of access to information the way it is now. You had to go a whole nother route in order to access information, but now it's at the palm of your hands. So for me, it really didn't register until I started dealing with the opposite sex on another level, because we all go through multiple relationships from teenage to teens, 20s, whatever, however your process is, you know what I'm saying? But we all, because that's the way we program in the Western society. Trauma, drama, bond, you know what I'm saying? So opposed from us just building and growing with something from the beginning, you know, we tap out and call it quits. But we all got our personal reasons because this war is going on. A lot of us haven't been taught the right methods. But for me, it's like I really had to take a hard look at myself throughout my life, right? We all do throughout our life. But when you in a space to where you really want something to work and you're really pushing to do something and you're getting so much friction and resistance and you're ending up with all these battle wounds and scars just from, you know, fighting so hard for something that's not fighting for you. You know what I mean? And when I had to get that concept in here, it was easier for me to take on the approach that beings around us, you know, are not always for us, you know, and a lot of them, I ain't gonna say all of them, but I'm gonna say a lot of them do mean to cause harm with their selfish intent, you know, or just with their ill intent. And I realized, like, it really hit hard with my BM, and that's when I did like a whole lot of self-reflecting, like more than the average, because I had already been through prison and did reflecting then, but now I'm not in that physical prison. It's like a different kind of prison realm that just, it was more uncomfortable than the actual prison. So, and it was like, and I think it hurt because it was like, before I started researching and learning, it was like I knew that this was an opposing opposition, you know, it just came in a different form. And a lot of it was like, I'm looking at myself and pressuring myself, and I start YouTubing, asking questions myself, like, shit, I'm researching this motherfucker and everything that's going on, but am I a narcissist? I had to look into every angle. When you are taking on this much in this spiritual realm, you know what I'm saying, and then, you know, doing everything you can in this 3D realm, you're gonna look at every avenue possible. And I realized, like, even with me looking at it, like, I could see how some beings would approach us or assume that that's the demeanor or the approach. But the difference with that shit is, ours is a defense system. I cannot apologize if you swing at me and I block it and you hurt yourself because my defense was so strong. That's your fault for swinging on me. So it's a different approach and twist with these things. That's why it's like, it's weird when people start doing that shit. But long story short, like, I used that time to strengthen myself, even with it being as hard of a terrain as it was. You know what I mean? Like, you trying to take a sports car off-roading, you know what I mean? That's not gonna work out too well for you. you can try it, but it's gonna be a lot of damage, bumps, from everything that happens in the process, you know what I mean? So, and I say all these things because a lot of us are in situations, whether you're living in or working with, that you just not in a position to get away from these particular demons that you have around you, or these weaker vessels that the opposition is accessing, you know what I mean? So once you start understanding that and you start looking at them, it'll kind of put you in a place to kind of look at yourself and see what you want to strengthen up yourself, you know what I mean? Like, all of the areas that allow them to have some kind of effect on you. That's kind of like how they figure out your weak points, you know what I mean, in the spiritual realm. Not really your weak points here, but more so in the spiritual realm. Y'all cannot see it, but it's a black cat just pulled up. It's not mine, but it just pulled up. He was walking up on me. I just thought that was a little weird, but y'all know it's all love all the way around the board. I ain't tripping. But yeah, a lot of us are in spaces where we cannot just get up and move and jump and run and do all these other things, and you have to figure out different techniques, you know what I'm saying, to defend yourself and to protect your energy, you know. And I just named those two because we're here, but we see what happens out in nature. Something comes in their territory, they go to work, you know what I'm saying? So it's just figuring out different ways to kind of defend yourself, a strong defense. So like, you could build a house with like a regular house, but let's say you got like a certain kind of creature that just loves to come and ram the walls or the side of the house or some shit like that. What if you put a stronger defense up? Maybe some spikes or another fence or something to let that motherfucker know, stop ramming up over this way. You know what I'm saying? Like, this space is preoccupied. I'm not harming you. You only harmed yourself because you came and rammed the wall and now you got spikes in you, but that's on you. That's not on me. You know what I mean? It was a strong defense, you know? And the more you dive in and you start drilling yourself, you know, because it's war. So if you facing that one, just know that you're gonna face more. It's going to be more. Don't think because I got away from this one. Tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no air. Go through the whole process, right? Later on down the road, here comes another one. Or you're at the stove bumping into it. Or you're at the mall bumping into it. Or you're anywhere out in this Western world bumping into it. You know what I mean? So why not just perfect your defense and master your defense the best way you can? So you have pop quizzes and then you have tests. You know, the test you got time to prepare for. You don't always got time for a pop quiz. And pop quizzes hit differently because you gotta think faster. You know what I'm saying? Your energy is in motion. You feeling some certain type of way. You got all of this stuff going on that you processing within. You know what I'm saying? So at least if you have an avenue to go to, you know what I'm saying, it's easier to kind of settle all your chakras. Because once your chakras start getting worked up, you're going to start making some either really irrational decisions or something that you may regret doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a regretful being, but I know some people do like that word or using it, you know what I mean, or whatever. But it's everywhere. If you feel you can duck it and avoid it, then the only way you're going to be able to do that is by cocooning off somewhere in nature and living off the squirrel nuts and sneaking around trying to find how to grow seeds and plants and all this other shit. Like, we gotta unify. It's only but so many ways around it, you know what I mean? Like, clearly they're unified and working to keep everybody at a bay. So, and this is spiritually. Like, if you process this, right? The rap industry, we all know that them niggas gotta go through some witchy shit. You know what I'm saying? Not one of them that's signed under any of them big labels are doing anything honestly. You know what I mean? They all had to do some witchy shit behind closed doors. But most of them already wanted to. Some of them didn't want to, and they kind of got blackmailed into it. Blah, 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 whatever. Those special cases. You know what I mean? But for the most part, most of them wanted to. So think about it deeper on a spiritual level. If spiritually I can program your house, then I can already have the little people programmed by the time they have age and doing these things. So that way, I don't have to make them do any witchy thing by the time they sign with us. They already willingly doing it because this is how we program them from young. You see what I'm saying? We all keep looking at the government. Government is controlled too. Stop looking at the government. This is a spiritual battle. And we got to figure out different ways to kind of work together to all defend ourselves and do what we got to do out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been a lot of us that didn't make it for standing up and standing solid. You know what I mean? So we still got to put some respect on their motherfucking names too and their energy and vibes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know all of them, but it is a handful, you know, that we are aware and that I'm aware that was already in these spaces already. You know what I mean? So I just feel like it's important for us to be aware of these different tools and tactics when it's going on, because most of us become stronger after dealing with one of them. You know what I mean? Because we realize that we have weaker areas, but we are not evil. You know what I'm saying? Evil is doing ill-intentional things towards someone. You know what I'm saying? You're well aware of your actions. And a lot of these beings be well aware of their actions. You know what I mean? So every time I've had to battle one or I was in the space of one, it just made me stronger. It didn't matter how much witchy shit they did. I would eat that and I would strengthen up. You know what I'm saying? So some of us aren't as strong in those spaces, which is why we all supposed to be unifying to help the other ones that are not strong enough. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep building and unifying. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want to run it up too long. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.